fought the rest, now try the best!
The fact that people are using poison breath in Oki, that's the issue. It's like, how did we even get to that point? But the thing with Yoshimitsu is that it was trade-offs. For having a move like that, he lost a lot of other things as a result. His combo damage was arguably the worst in the whole game. He didn't have nothing as a result. But in this environment where they constantly buff characters, he's a victim of it as well. This is like an older era, right? Someone approached Harada and asked him, why is Yoshimitsu low tier in every game? That's what they asked Harada. And Harada said, he's supposed to be. That's the character. When you give a character tools like that, you literally don't give him anything else. And you sit back and you watch the players put the pieces together. You know, you give them a wild tool like Poison Breath, a wild tool like Flash, a wild tool like Low Unblockable. But then all of the other lows are either punishable or launch punishable. And most of them are launch punishable. And I agree with characters like that existing. I agree with these very wacky, like clown party type characters existing. But they have to stay that. Once you start making them a normal character, like a normal, streamlined, grounded, fundamental, neutral, whatever word you want to use to describe it. Once the clown stop being a clown, then you have a problem. That's the issue with Yoshi. I know a lot of people want to take away his clownery, but in the sake of protecting character identity, I say let's not. And what we should do is attack all of the other stuff he was given. But I mean, I'm not going to stop you guys though. If you guys really would want Low Unblockable out the game and Flash out the game and Poison Breath out the game, then do it. Yoshimitsu existed at one point in time without those tools. But even the Low Unblockable got nerfed. In Tekken 7, you can screw off of it and do a full combo. In this game, you can't. You can still do damage, but that's also because of the heat and tailspin. You talk about them knowing A is a problem and then fixing it, but then putting something else in the game, and then now B is the problem. You can't screw off a Low Unblockable anymore, but you can tailspin and heat off of it, so it kind of replaces it. That shouldn't be possible because their goal was to make the move not do that. Their goal was to limit its functions. It's the same concept as them buffing sidesteps and like yelling it from the top of a mountain. Hey everyone, we buffed sidesteps. You got FDX on Twitter talking about they're listening. Yes. And then the update goes live and now everyone has track admits. And then now FDX is out here looking crazy and everybody's making fun of FDX for saying they're listening. It's the same exact concept. And that's exactly what they did in Tekken 7. In Tekken 7, when people complained about Akuma death combos, they would nerf one move that allowed the death combo, but then they would buff another move and then you would just literally replace it. The combos changes a little bit. You know how like when your character gets buffed or nerfed and then your combo changes a little bit? That's what they did to Akuma like 4 times. I don't know why the developers do that, and they have to be aware that they are doing that. They're not really fixing the problem. They're more so just creating a new way to do that thing. After years of it, the new way is becoming more obnoxious than the original way. You might as well just let Yoshimitsu screw from his Low Unblockable, because that was giving a shorter, less damaging combo than him heat and tail spinning and getting Oki at the wall. Those are the type of things that you think would be fixed when they create a whole new game. I mean, with Tekken 8, that wasn't the case. And with Season 2, it only made it even more undoable.
Hey, it's me, Olivia. Don't worry, Mooney, I love listening to Yoshi downplay.
Hey, that's pretty funny. I think there's a good game in here somewhere for Tekken 8, but the more buffs they put on it, the harder it is to see it. They gotta stop buffing. I know the developers love buffing. The reason why they love buffing is because you can sell a buff. Everyone loves their character getting something new and cool and dangerous to use, right? And it's profitable. But at the same time, doing that for, what is it, like 15 years if you go all the way back to Tag 2 and how characters evolved into Tekken 7, it was pretty crazy. It kind of ends up with where we're at now, where every character is godlike. And most characters don't have a weakness. Some characters only have 1 or 2 weaknesses. Like Yoshimitsu, his only 2 weaknesses are bad tracking and bad lows. But with a move like forward 1+2 existing, can you even say that he has bad tracking? And then with the way that you use low unblockable in Oki, because of forward 1+2 and because of the wall tailspin, can you even say that he has bad lows? And that's the thing. The same is true for Heihachi, by the way. He has bad lows and bad tracking. But when they gave him that mid kick, and they literally said it themselves that that mid kick covers his tracking weakness. And yes, it's only to one side and the move has a lot of recovery, but it's still very effective. It's a counter hit launcher. What are supposed to be these characters' weaknesses sounds more and more like gaslighting every day. If I went around telling people Yoshimitsu has bad lows and bad tracking, people would think I'm gaslighting them. They already took away a lot of his unblockables. This is what people don't realize too. People hate Yoshi so much to where they don't realize how his identity has been sapped. People hate him because of how powerful he is, but they don't realize he's getting powerful because his identity, which was being a weak party character, is fading. The more unblockables he loses, the more party tricks he loses, that means he's becoming a more solid character. Yoshimitsu is starting to look less and less like Yoshimitsu and is looking more and more like Paul Phoenix. He's becoming a normal character and people don't realize that. That's the dangerous part. People talk about Steve Fox's identity and Steve Fox probably will be saved, but Yoshimitsu, Alyssa is going to be those characters who are just in the background, slowly losing their identity, but slowly becoming more and more obnoxious. And you know how people complain about the Flash and low unblockable? And the reason why I defend these tools is because those tools are the pillar of his identity and his uniqueness. And the idea is not to remove those because he loses all originality. The tools is to remove the things that are making those busted. And I get why they push against him, but I just try to tell them why they're going about it the wrong way. Like, the way that I try to describe it is that there's a proper way to nerf and there's a wrong way to nerf. If you over nerf, then you're going to need to buff, or you can nerf a move incorrectly and then the move still be a problem. Because Tekken is such a weird game to where sometimes the move you're dying to isn't the actual problem. It may be the move before it. The move before it that is creating the situation. For example, Heihachi's heat smash going into a stance mix-up is the problem. The guard break is annoying, but it's the heat smash putting you in this situation where you then have to guess. If the heat smash didn't do that, then who knows how the Heihachi players would use the guard break. When I have these kind of discussions, I hope people just like hear what I'm trying to say and don't just write it off as like, up here's some more Yoshi downplay. Because I really don't care about how powerful Yoshi is. I really don't. I didn't pick Yoshimitsu because of how powerful he is. I picked him just because I like samurais. And at the time when I picked him, he was kind of a low tier scrub. And I had fun regardless. I had fun. I climbed up the ranks. I enjoyed the game. I loved the game. Tekken 7 was one of my favorite games. At that point, Yoshimitsu was low tier. And then they started buffing him, and now he is what he is now. And I think the fact that I play Yoshimitsu gives me unique insight on his transformation. And that's what I try to tell people. Like, if I was a Steve Fox main talking about Steve Fox this and that, everyone would be like, oh, yeah. But since I'm talking about a character that's like hated, people are like way less receptive to what I'm trying to say. And I think with having these conversations, I definitely have gotten better and better at relaying the message. But still, you have a lot of people who are just blinded by their hatred. And I get it. Yoshimitsu is, and this is the thing that you could talk about as well, is how like certain characters are supposed to be hated. On a roster of Tekken size and even other rosters, they're supposed to be characters that are kind of annoying. That's what gives it its unique flair. I remember watching a Corey video where he talked about this kind of idea, and he was saying like, if people didn't want annoying characters to exist, then every fighting game would just be Ken versus Ken, Ryu versus Ryu. But the reason for adding new characters, the idea behind it is adding new playstyles. Sometimes the playstyle of the character is literally just to tilt you, and the more tilted you become, the stronger the character becomes. Because that was Yoshimitsu's playstyle before. His playstyle was really to like upset you, so you start playing weirder, mashing more, and then that's when, you know, you start freezing up with unblockables. He's a character who's supposed to shake your foundation. That's why the people who destroy Yoshi are players who are really like comfortable. But in this game, he could do that without you even being tilted. You know, when you do talk about adding new stuff, the only thing I could possibly comprehend them adding to Yoshimitsu at this point, and I'm not saying I want this, I'm just saying if they were going to give him something, the only things he's missing at this point in time is a power crush that actually is good, because his power crush has low range, punishable, it has no tracking. So if they wanted to make Yoshimitsu even more obnoxious, they would probably give him a new power crush, probably a high. If they really wanted to be degenerates, they would put it in Kinshot stance and make it safe. Once again, that's like worst case scenario. That's they're not listening. If they are listening, they won't do that. Another thing they would probably give Yoshimitsu if they are really like making him worse, or worse in the sense of like ruining his identity, they would probably give him another homing attack. He has avoiding the puddle, which is a mid. It's pretty decent. It has low evasion. And then the other move he has is 4-3. So if they really wanted to just continue buffing characters and just continue just being like pushing this game in a bad direction, my guess is they'll do one of those two. Who knows? If we're really unlucky, maybe they'll give him a homing power crush.